integrity are not at variance with business acumen. Hailed as a global leader in his own field, Mr. Narayan Murthy has been a recipient of several international awards. Mr. Narayan Murthy, welcome to our show.
Thank you very much.
You founded your company with just $250 in 1981.
Yeah.
Later, 6 persons also joined. And now in a short span, it has become a global leader in technology, outsourcing, and other things. What is the mantra of this success?
Well, I think we brought a team with a common value system. We benchmarked ourselves on a global basis. We followed the finest principles of corporate governance. We created the country's largest stock option plan. We created country's first software campus. We have the world's largest corporate training facility. We have worked together as a good team. Therefore, I think all these attributes have helped us to achieve whatever little success we have achieved.
Not little, from $250 to over $7 billion at the moment. And now you are employing, I think, more than 1.5 lakh people.
Yes, the company is. I am no more part of the company. I retired last year. I am, thanks to the kindness of the board of directors, I am called the chairman emeritus. It means that anybody can come to me for any advice. I will provide any help that they want in connecting with prospects and customers. And I would visit various campuses and talk about the story of Infosys and communicate the importance of values to our younger colleagues. These are the three things that I do. And once in a while, when people like you come, I come to this campus. Otherwise, I sit in my home office.
How is it that you voluntarily stepped down as executive chairman? Now you're non-executive chairman.
No, I'm not even the non-executive.
Not even
I'm
that.
just the chairman emeritus.
That's chairman emeritus and mentor of this company.
Yeah.
Because dynasty is so ingrained in our culture, be it politics or something else, even business industry. People don't voluntarily give up any position. You have done it. That's quite rare.
Well, I think India is a country which has 1.2 billion people. It has probably 600 million people below the age of 35. Therefore, it is very important for leaders of this country in different walks of life, whether it's politics or corporate affairs or academia or bureaucracy, to give up their position at an appropriate time so that the youngsters have an opportunity. Also, when we say that the bureaucrats have to retire at 62, when corporate leaders generally retire at 60, 62, it doesn't make sense that the political leaders or some of corporate leaders continue beyond that age.
But is it proper to put any age bar, because it is generally said about India that this is no country for young men, politicians don't retire. To some extent it is justified, but maybe some people don't get success at an early stage, and just because they become aged, maybe beyond 60, so they should give up for the younger generation, though they are physically fit, they are quite talented to serve the country. So people should not be taken like vegetables which become stale overnight. They are not vegetables.
Well, I do think that, I do think from my own experience that age has its impact in terms of energy. I am not as energetic as I used to be 10 years ago. After all, it's not for nothing that there is a retirement age for bureaucrats, for military people. Why is that? It is simply because you are not at your physical best beyond a certain age. Therefore, I think it behooves us to give opportunity to younger people so that the country can move forward better, instead of old fellows sitting in the chair all the time and not giving opportunity to youngsters. I think we will have to give opportunity, particularly in a country like India, which claims to have huge number of people below 35.
More than 70% people.
Yeah, exactly.
So we have the youngest demographic profile in the whole world.
If that is so, then let us give opportunity to younger people in every walk of life. Why are old fellows still hanging on to their chair, whether it is in corporations or in politics or any arena? I think they should give opportunity to younger people. If we claim that we have the largest percentage of people below 35, and I think a person of 35, 40 can bring in lot more energy, new ideas, can work long hours. So therefore, it's very important.
That reminds me of the later half of the 18th century, when there were a lot of writers who were very pessimistic in their writings, that the future of the world is very bleak, and then the great poet Goethe said, well, I am so glad that I am not young, because the young will have to suffer. I am old, I will not have to suffer.
Well, in my opinion, every civilized society has to make every sacrifice required to ensure that the next generation is better than the current generation. That's what a civilized society is. Therefore, I would say that all of us together will have to do whatever it is to ensure that our children and our grandchildren have a better quality of life than we had.
We shall have a short break right now. Please stay with us. Mr. Narayan Murthy will be joining back after some time.
आइसक्रीम खाएगी?
आइसक्रीम ये है डबल आनंद। पहला आनंद पॉलिसी टर्म के अंत पर मैच्योरिटी क्लेम का पूरा भुगतान, और दूसरा आपके अपनों के लिए लाइफ कवर की पूरी रकम बिना किसी प्रीमियम के। LIC जीवन आनंद, आनंद ही आनंद।
मिस्टर और मिसेस शर्मा ने कार ली लोन पर और किश्तों में चुकाने का वादा भी किया। कुछ दिन तो अच्छे गए, पर जब मिस्टर शर्मा किश्त नहीं चुका पाए तो बैंक ने उनकी कार जब्त कर ली, और जब मिस्टर शर्मा किश्त चुकाने गए तो
आपकी गाड़ी तो हमने बेच दी।
बेच दी?
सॉरी सर।
जब वादे हो जाए झूठे और दिल अपना टूटे।
शोभा, उन्होंने हमारी गाड़ी बिना हमें नोटिस दिए बेच दी।
शर्मा जी कंज्यूमर फोरम गए। वहाँ फैसला ये हुआ कि बैंक उनको 1.5 लाख रुपया यानी कार की मार्केट वैल्यू, और जब से कंप्लेन लिखवाई है तब से अब तक की रकम पर पूरे 9% ब्याज दे।
जागो ग्राहक जागो।
लगता है हम ऑस्ट्रेलिया वापस आ गए। आगरा पहुंचकर ही लंच करेंगे।
गुड।
टाइम क्या हुआ?
कार में गंदगी मचाना ठीक है, पर सड़क पर गंदगी मचाना गलत। एक विश्व स्तरीय एक्सप्रेसवे पर जरूरी है अनुशासन। बस ट्रैफिक नियमों का पालन कीजिए और आनंद लीजिए यमुना एक्सप्रेसवे का।
साफ तो करने दो।
कोई इमरजेंसी नहीं, रेस्ट एरिया में ही रुके।
यमुना एक्सप्रेसवे, सुहाना सफर, सलामत सफर।
Mr. Narayan Murthy, you talked about the corporate governance. This company could grow up because you adopted the finest values of corporate governance.
Yeah.
You're very right. But what we find today, that when the government is being accused of so much of bureaucracy, even the private sectors have become bureaucratized.
It is true. I mean, bureaucracy at the end of the day is needed as long as the government is a catalytic agent, as long as government is a regulatory authority. Government is an umpire in making sure that everybody plays the game according to the rules. But bureaucracy should not mean unnecessary delays. It should not mean projects that have been done in 6 months elsewhere.
But red tape continues to be the culture of our governance.
That
we read that someone is not able to get kidney from others because the file could not be cleared that the person ultimately died. That sort of red tape we have, and bureaucracy is associated with red tapeism.
I hope that's not what happened to Vilas Rao Deshmukh.
No, not in case of Vilas Rao Deshmukh,
because,
but some other cases I'm referring to.
Yeah, it's a pity.
But even in that was a different case. That was not a bureaucracy, but because the person who had to donate, the relatives of that person were not convinced, despite being declared brain dead.
Well, I think at this point of time, when for the first time in the last 300 years, India has received some respect from the global audience, when India occupies the high table at most multilateral fora, it is very important for all of us, the corporate leaders, the politicians, the bureaucrats, every one of us, to realize that this is the time for us to act with a sense of alacrity. This is the time when we have to consolidate all that progress. This is the time when we have to take quick and tough decisions. And this is the time when the opposition and the ruling party have to come together to make this nation stronger rather than fighting. I think that is the need.
National interest is the uppermost.
Absolutely. National interest is the most important interest at this point in time.
When we talk of bureaucracy, people in the lighter vein say that India has excelled in the field of IT and beauty contest because these two fields are not associated with bureaucracy. There is no control of bureaucrats over these two fields.
I would beg to differ because we have had extraordinary bureaucrats like Mr. N. Whittle in the Department of Electronics, and Mr. Whittle was truly responsible for taking quick and important decisions so that this industry can indeed make fast progress. So I am personally grateful to bureaucrats like Mr. Whittle, and there are many bureaucrats like him even today.
Like H.M. Patel, VP Man, for example, who in fact was the architect of the integration of whole India, for which the credit goes to Sardar Patel, or for example T.N. Session, who really dynamized the election commission.
I think we must all recognize that there are good politicians, there are good bureaucrats, and we should not paint them all with the same brush. We have to stand up and salute the good politicians, we have to stand up and salute the good bureaucrats, and make sure that there is even greater incentive for more and more good people to enter politics as well as enter bureaucracy, because this country needs such people in government today.
That is true. That is true. Every field needs good
Absolutely.
people.
Absolutely.
Without good people, you can't do anything. Your another statement was that the Indian Administrative Service should be replaced by Indian Management Service. Will not that become another bureaucratic system?
Well, you know, in a developing country, our first priority has to be to bring in development quickly and efficiently, which means to complete projects quickly at the lowest cost and most efficiently. This is nothing new. Mr. Chidambaram, sometime in the 80s, middle 80s, he wanted to introduce the Indian Management Service. I think he was a minister in the Department of Personal...
Minister of State for Personal Department of Personal and Administrative Reforms.
Because at the end of the day, let's remember that the need of a developing country like India is to bring in efficiency and effectiveness in everything that we do. Reducing cost is very, very important for us. Reducing cycle time is very, very important for us. Improving the productivity of people is very important for us. This is what management is all about.
Creating a new
Therefore,
service is one thing and disbanding one service and creating another as a substitute. How far that would help?
well, let's remember that Indian Administrative Service was conceived as a successor to the Indian Civil Service, whose objective was primarily revenue collection, law and order, and maintenance of status quo.
And even Jawaharlal Nehru said that Indian civil service is neither Indian nor civil nor service.
So, the need of the day today is to reduce cycle time, reduce cost, bring in innovation, and make sure that our projects are executed efficiently. If you want to do that, there has to be a management mindset. It is no more a question of just law and order. It is no more a question of revenue collection. It is all about development, and therefore I agree with Mr. Chidambaram that it is very, very important for all of us to recast Indian administrative services into the framework of Indian management services.
There is an opinion that there should be no cadre. In fact, India, which has several castes and communities, so there are several isms, casteism, communalism, provincialism. So these cadres have also become a sort of divisive force. Now we have another ism, that is cadreism. So all the cadres should be disbanded.
No, I think we do need structures, mechanisms, and processes if you want to bring efficiency. As long as those of us who have been recipient of the largesse from the society, we don't act with arrogance and hubris, it is okay. So, while we need these processes and mechanisms and structures, we have to conduct ourselves with humility. That is the problem, not so much this.
Generally happens that as one grows in a stature, the hubris also grows. It becomes so pronounced.
You are right, but that is where I suppose we have to come out with a mechanism whereby those who are elite, rich and powerful, they indeed are in touch with the reality of the society and conduct themselves in a manner that the vast majority of the country is not upset with them.
We shall have a short break right now. Please stay with us.
एक खुशहाल और उपयोगी जीवन के लिए चाहिए मन की शांति, इसीलिए मैंने चुना LIC। LIC से आता है जीवन में सुरक्षा का सुर, तो कहीं और क्यों जाएं?
घर खरीदना हर एक का सपना होता है। ब्रिगेडियर साहब का भी यही सपना था, पर जब ब्रिगेडियर साहब खुद के घर का पोजीशन लेने गए तो
देखिए, फिलहाल तो आपका घर तैयार नहीं है।
जब वादे हो जाए झूठे और दिल अपना टूटे।
सोचा था रिटायरमेंट के बाद अपने घर जाऊंगा, पर पूरे पैसे भरने पर भी समय पर घर नहीं मिल रहा है। ऊपर से बढ़ती हुई महंगाई का हवाला देकर तय की हुई रकम से ज्यादा वसूल कर चुके हैं। ये तो सरासर धोखा है ना जी।
ब्रिगेडियर साहब कंज्यूमर फोरम गए। फैसला ये हुआ कि अदा की हुई रकम पर बिल्डर सालाना 12% ब्याज दे और कॉन्ट्रैक्ट के मुताबिक जो सुविधाएं नहीं दी उसके बदले वो पैसे वापस करे।
जागो ग्राहक जागो। मैं तो सारे मैसेज पढ़ूंगी। मैंने नहीं देखा तुम्हारा मोबाइल।
तू कब आया मोनू?
अब तो मोनू के कॉलेज वापस जाने का टाइम आ गया है। जब भी कॉलेज जाने की बात करो इसका चेहरा उतर जाता है, कुछ तो गड़बड़ है।
नहीं नहीं, नया नया स्टूडेंट है ना, तो सीनियर तो रैगिंग करते ही होंगे। चिंता वाली कोई बात नहीं।
चिंता की बात है भाई साहब, रैगिंग जैसे गंभीर मामले को नजरअंदाज मत कीजिए। एंटी रैगिंग हेल्पलाइन नंबर पे कॉल करें और उनसे सलाह और सहयोग लें।
एंटी रैगिंग हेल्पलाइन नंबर 1800-180-5522 पर कॉल करें।
Welcome back. We are talking to Narayan Murthy. Mr. Narayan Murthy, India is known and respected for the phenomenal growth of the IT industry, but recently we saw the flip side of this technology. It was used or rather abused by so many people, and then there was exodus on such a large number because social websites were used for it. What is your comment?
It's very, very sad. I think a state like Karnataka, which is always been known for its tolerance, its respect for citizens from other states, or I mean citizens of India from other states. Bangalore has been a city that has welcomed people from all over the country. So for us to see the exodus of people from Northeast, I think was very sad. I felt extremely bad. And this is also, as you pointed out, a good example of how a very powerful technology can be misused. Therefore, it is very, very important for us to be vigilant and ensure that the impact of such websites, such dissemination mechanisms is quickly doused before it can indeed cause major damage.
Mr. Narayan, Murthy, Infosys is credited with pioneering global delivery model, which is based on the principle of taking work to the location where you have the best available talent, and economically also it makes the best sense with the minimal of risk. So would you like to elaborate what is it?
You know, I define globalization as sourcing capital from where it is cheapest, sourcing talent from where it is best available, producing where it is most cost effective, and selling where the markets are without being constrained by national boundaries. In order to leverage the power of globalization, which has been of course lectured to us by Western countries, we came out with a model where we said the task of software development, which is a huge task, which consists of literally thousands of tasks, can be divided into two classes of activities. The first set of activities have a very high level of interaction with our customers. Interviewing the customer, documenting the requirement, getting sign-off from the customer, installing the software at customer site, training the customer on how to use our software, then providing rapid reaction warranty. These are all activities that have a very high level of interaction with customers. On the other hand, there are activities which require very little interaction with customers. Functional design, architecture, database design, technical design, programming, testing, performance engineering, documentation, and long-term warranty. These activities can be delivered efficiently from large, talent-rich, quality-based, process-driven, technology-enabled, cost-competitive development centers in countries like India. The result is the customer gets better value for money, the customer gets better quality of software, and everybody is a winner. So this is the principle that on which we designed the global delivery model.
Not only in the field of software, even in case of hardware, for example, more than 100 years back, Nusarwanji Tata went to Singhbhum for establishing his factory. He did not think of transporting coal or iron from there to Gujarat, because he thought that when iron and coal are available in abundance in Singhbhum, the factory should go there. So we did it long back, even
Absolutely.
in the field of hardware.
Absolutely. Oh, there is no doubt about it. I mean, Tatas have been pioneers. If you look at the way Jamshedpur is, their whole approach towards employees, towards shareholders, towards the society has been exemplary. Absolutely.
Some time back you made a very important statement which created a sort of, what should I say, storm, that most of the engineers produced in our country are unemployable. And you said that even IITs are not producing quality engineers, and that is primarily because of the coaching system that we have.
Well, McKinsey has come out with a report that says hardly 25% of the engineers that come out from our colleges are employable. I have not said anything new. In fact, we used to conduct 14 weeks of training program for engineers till a few years ago. When we realized that 14 weeks of training was not sufficient to make our trainees competent to add value to our customers, we increased it to 29 to 30 weeks. So in fact, we doubled it. So it's a very clear data point to show that our college system, particularly the engineering college system, is really not geared to producing employable graduates. That's a fact. It is changing for the better, there is no doubt about it, but we still have a lot of work to do.
Mr. Narayan Murthy, you have been hailed by different media organizations and other organizations as a global leader in 2000 Asia Week, featured you as one of the most powerful people of Asia. Then CNN Time in 2001 featured you as one of the 25 most powerful or influential executives of the world, and so on and so forth, Fortune and other. How do you take these compliments?
There is this searchlight which is rotating. That searchlight falls on you for a fleeting moment. That is the time when you have to conduct yourselves with humility, grace and courtesy. The true grace, the true courtesy, the true humility is if you exhibit those characteristics when you have power, when the searchlight is on you. So therefore, I have tried to the best of my abilities to conduct myself with humility, grace and courtesy, even when that searchlight was on my face.
That's quite great. We would like to know something about your personal and private life.
My children are both abroad right now. My wife travels a lot within India, but mainly in rural India. So therefore, I really don't have any great personal life, but as often as is possible, I meet with friends. I meet with I meet with my family people. I listen to music. I read a lot, and I sleep early. So. Not much there.
Early to bed and early to rise makes a man healthy, wealthy and wise, goes the old adage. I have read that your wife Sudha Murthy does the household work herself.
Oh yes. I think we have lived like that for the last so many years, 30 and odd years. So it's good for her.
And your foundation is also doing some good work for the poor people. So would you like to tell us something about it?
Well, the focus of Infosys Foundation is to address the basic needs of the poorest of the poor. They have built hospitals, they have created libraries in some 35,000 villages for children. They give scholarship to rural children. They have given equipment to hospitals. They have rehabilitated prostitutes. They have rehabilitated platform children. They have done whatever little they can.
Mr. Narayan Murthy, it was a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you.
And thanks so much for joining this program. And viewers, thank you so much for watching this Tete-a-Tete with Mr. Narayan Murthy. And would like to finish with this very statement who has himself practiced, that one should be humble and should never be arrogant. Good night and thank you.
Tete was brought to you by LIC Jeevan Vaibhav.